The devastating new details about Prince Andrew paint a picture even darker than what the public has already come to know, because while the Duke of York was once considered one of the most promising members of the British royal family, admired for his military service in the Falklands War and his reputation as the Queen's favourite son, his fall from grace has been so steep and so humiliating that it has left the monarchy itself scarred. For years, whispers of Andrew's questionable friendships and reckless lifestyle followed him, but it was his connection to disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein that set in motion a scandal from which he has never recovered, and now, as more evidence, testimonies, and behind-the-scenes accounts emerge, the full extent of Andrew's entanglements has proven far more damaging than many realized. Insiders reveal that Andrew maintained far closer ties to Epstein than he initially admitted, with multiple visits to Epstein's homes in New York, Palm Beach, and the infamous Private Island, despite his repeated public insistence that he barely knew the man, and photographs, flight logs, and staff testimonies tell a different story, one that suggests he was deeply involved in that toxic circle of wealth and exploitation. The infamous BBC Newsnight interview, where Andrew awkwardly attempted to explain his actions, is now seen as the moment his credibility collapsed entirely, with his bizarre excuses such as claiming he could not sweat or that he had been at a Pizza Express on the night in question, becoming the subject of ridicule worldwide. But beyond the embarrassment lies something much darker: the voices of the victims, young women whose accounts place Andrew in situations that no royal should ever have been connected to, and whose courage in speaking out has cast a permanent shadow over his name. Behind palace doors, sources confirm that Andrew's behavior caused deep fractures within the royal family, forcing Queen Elizabeth II into impossible positions as she struggled to protect the crown while also shielding her son, with millions of pounds in taxpayer money quietly spent on security, legal fees, and settlements to contain the fallout. Most devastatingly, Andrew was stripped of his royal duties, his military titles, and his Her Royal Highness status, effectively exiled from public life, leaving him humiliated and isolated, his once bright reputation now reduced to scandal headlines and late-night jokes. Friends say he has grown bitter and withdrawn, spending much of his time at the Royal Lodge, rarely seen in public, and increasingly aware that his life of privilege has crumbled into disgrace. The settlement he reached in the civil lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre may have closed one legal chapter, but it opened many more questions about accountability, money, and the silence that surrounded him for decades. And now fresh reports suggest that investigators in the US and UK continue to scrutinize aspects of his involvement, meaning the scandal is far from over. Perhaps most painful is the realization that Prince Andrew, once trusted to represent the monarchy on the world stage, has now become its greatest liability, his legacy not one of service but of scandal. And the devastating details continue to confirm that this is not simply a fall from grace, but a collapse that has forever altered how the world views the British royal family. For Andrew himself, the tragedy lies in the fact that no matter how he tries to live out his remaining years, the stain of this scandal will never fade, and his name will forever be synonymous not with duty and honor, but with disgrace and devastating betrayal.